Donald Trump is not a warrior at all. He's a fat, doughy thug who incites violence against people and cries when he doesn't get his way. Hey everybody, it's April Fields, aka the Cinematic Nuke. It's gonna be tough, but we mustn't give up hope. So before we get started, I just want to give a special shout out to my new followers. I really appreciate it. Subscribe. It means a lot that the numbers are going up, and I'm going to keep doing this. I'm excited to do more, and I'm still looking forward to getting to that 300. So if you like this video, click like, subscribe, leave a comment. It'll really help. Haven't gotten any comments yet, but I feel it coming. I feel it. I'm waiting for that first person to leave a comment and get this ball rolling. And before anyone notices, yes, this particular episode is shot in 2 different sittings. It's been a crazy month, and I appreciate you all joining and bearing with me. So I'm excited to see how this rolls. But yes, this video is going to be a bit of a Frankenstein's monster. Notice the difference in the beard in the second half. As always, welcome to my Hear Me Out segment titled
Reading Chud Comments,
where we read the comments of the chuddiest people on the internet. Really, it's about not just reading the comments and making fun of these people, which they absolutely deserve, and more. It's also about educating those who are willing to listen to why these comments are a problem. Just give people a little bit of an understanding of why these comments are so problematic. And it's also a good way to kind of have a little fun with my viewers. All my videos are usually pretty much entertainment, but these are especially fun, I think. Knowing that these chuds aren't gonna let up on giving me any material, let's get started, because I have a ton of these videos saved that I'm gonna be making these videos. LGBTQ, always bring it up. It's a big portion of this segment because, let's face it, they get the biggest amount of hate because for some reason, every other marginalized group in America feels that the LGBTQ, and even more so, trans America, are the dumping ground for their hate. Black folks, white folks, gay people, everyone just seems to make trans people like the enemy. It's just so weird. So I try to combat that with the equal amount of energy that they give. It's petty, but it's fun. And like I said, also meant to be educational to an extent. With the insurgence of these right-wing chuds growing in America and becoming the voice of reason these days, there are also many entertainers who are becoming more and more popular as a result. Entertainers who have maybe until recently been shunned by others because of their obviously horrific views on things and just overall terrible sentiment that they bring to the table. But of course, in Trump's America, this is celebrated. And there is a gentleman who I will be bringing up. I said gentleman, he's actually a piece of shit. Who I will be bringing up in this next video, who decided to instigate at a women's rights rally, right? Now, this women's rights rally has trans women kind of involved, some of them kind of leading the charge, and obviously with a group of people who will never just allow people to go about their day as a trans woman or trans man. This is a joke. Women's rights in of itself is already a joke to these airheads, but trans women's rights are just like non-existent, like that doesn't even register for them. So this guy goes out and instigates this crowd with several different tactics. Let's just watch it first.
No, women belong in the kitchen. Women belong in the kitchen. Women belong in the kitchen. Why are transgender people leading a women's march? Get back in the kitchen. Get back in the kitchen. You women belong in the kitchen. Learn how to cook. guys think you're so cute going bowling after girls. You need to get off my girlfriend's face, you fat fuck. Okay. Look at these big booty Latinas. Oh, you want to kill babies? You like killing babies? You guys are delusional, bunch of baby killers. You're pathetic. You're a baby killer.
That's assault.
Hey, listen here, you dumbass. Why don't you go kill some more babies? Isn't that what you guys want to do? Abort some more babies? I'm a pimp on a blimp.
Before we get into this one, it's not so much that the guy is out there doing what he's doing. That is a problem, and he is an ass. The crowd, despite this slight confrontation, is making do. But it's the comments that just make this so much worse for me. So here we go. Whatever this name is. Not gonna lie, he kind of had a point with, why are trans people leading the women's march? For a second, let's just not acknowledge trans women as women. I know you don't, but let's just do it across the board. Why can't men help lead a women's march? I don't see why men cannot support that endeavor. There are plenty of strong women who can do that on their own. But if these people have had a conversation and found that someone who can be a voice and be a strong voice during their approach to this march, and that person is not necessarily your traditional woman, who cares? That's not your concern, really. I'm sure that there were plenty of movements during the civil rights era where there were white voices who were leading the charge, not for like the biggest groups or anything like that, not for the major movements, but like there were probably white people in communities who said, I'm speaking up for these people, and probably needed a little bit of that courage for some other people to join in and start fighting as well. Like, I don't see what the problem would be if that was the case. But he's trying to be smarmy about it and say that trans women can't lead a women's march because they're not women. And it's like, that's already just ridiculous, because they're fighting for rights, even more so than regular cis women. So like, I think if these people have decided that it works for them, then they're good. This one I had to share my response to. Misfit_civic says, if they'd been bullied as kids, they wouldn't have to be bullied as adults. And I had to acknowledge like that was so uncalled for. It just, the reality here is that this person was bullied, or bullied people because his life was shit. Now just finds the idea of people who he doesn't accept being bullied to be a reasonable solution. And some people throw it out there as a joke. Maybe he is just kind of partially joking. I highly doubt it. I'm sure the sentiments is real, that these people need to be verbally abused or even physically abused in order to get in line to be what society wants you to be. Some people need to be bullied for me to accept them. And it's just like, what headspace are you in, bro? They always say seek therapy, but they're the ones that need the most therapy. Like, get help. This one is a very common sentiment. The Iron Lotus 007 says, what rights do women not have? Now, this is a woman saying this, so it's doubly problematic, I think. And they use this for black folks too. Like, what rights do black folks not have? While I'm not thorough on what the differences are between the black experience and the white experience when it comes to a systemic level, I can definitely vouch for the fact that in modern times, it's not only a fight for what has not been considered equal treatment in the past, but what things are going to become under this administration. Even if things were completely equal for women, which they have not been, and this woman who's probably never been in a really diverse or big environment, she probably lives in like the backwoods of Nebraska or something, I don't know, and so can't really attest to it on her own. It's worth protecting the freedoms moving forward that you may not experience, like the right to bodily autonomy, which is a popular one and one that he addresses in this video, which we'll get to that in a bit. The right to be in the workplace, which All these things are here now, but they're incapable of watching the process fail in the future. They just see. I don't. I don't even feel like they can see things at face value, because seeing things at face value is pretty clear that Donald Trump is dismantling this government and taking us back to a time when women didn't have the same rights. They're making it very challenging for women to even be able to vote. Like, women can't change their voting status if they don't have the name that's on their birth certificate on their ID. Why would the name on their birth certificate be on their ID? It's punishing married women. Like, you won't be able to vote. Your husband's going to be the only one that's going to be able to vote. So they can't perceive the future rights or lack thereof for women and people of color. They just see things on surface level. It's just like, oh, they can walk around and they can ride on the bus and they can do everyday things like I do. What kind of rights do they not have? You can buy a house. There's rich people. There's black people that are richer than I am. And there's white people that live in poverty. Like, so what? It's not that black and white. Ray says Verde says, ha 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 ha, this fool needs to invite me next time so I can hate with you. I want to hate in person with you. I want to own the libs. These people, they're either just like sitting at their keyboard like, we need more heroes like him, or they're like, we need more heroes like him, which is extra chuddy, which is just so pathetic too. Like, this, if you really find this person to be your hero in any way, you're just like the lowest form of human life. And this one really kind of blew my mind a little bit. I feel like this person's trying to be sincere, but they just come off as an idiot. Neeptorius says, to be fair, a lot of them would be happier if they learned how to cook healthy food instead of the bullshit they're shoveling now. I'm not exactly sure how that correlates. Like, yeah, the average person would probably be happier if they learned how to cook, but I'm not sure which part of this video expresses the sentiments that these women don't know how to cook. Like, who said it? The asshole doing the video said you all need to be in the kitchen, but did this person take that as, oh, he said they need to be in the kitchen? That means that none of them know how to cook. He's being a misogynistic asshole. So that means what he's saying is true. Like, I just couldn't fathom. And I think this is a woman. I can't really tell by the thumbnail or profile pic, but it looks like a woman. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's true. And what does she mean by the bullshit that they're shoveling now? It means like just the processed food that's in grocery stores, or is she talking about like their agenda? Like, I feel like she's just mixed up her message a little too much to where she couldn't get it out correctly and just said it all in one just sloppy dump. Here we go. Your traditional MAGA sentiments. American Mama 716. America. What's funny is they don't even realize that he's trying to trigger them, and they're just falling right into the trap. Hee hee. These people aren't dumb. They know that he's trying to trigger them. Like, I think she's gathering that because they are reacting to his message in the way that she wants them to, that they're falling for it. Like, they didn't understand that this was his goal and that they're just completely vulnerable. I guess that we've explored many times that these people don't have a sense of self, I guess. Like, they do. They're very selfish people, and that's probably all they understand, just like Donald Trump. But like, the idea that someone would get emotionally charged because you're saying hateful things, it's like a thrill for them. They experience it probably more than anyone because everything pisses them off. They are the biggest snowflakes. But when other people get visibly upset by the absolutely disgusting things that these people say, it's like it's some kind of one-off thing for them each time. They're just like, they're getting mad. I love it. It's so bizarre to me. Like it's to find joy in other people's pain. And a big message that I want to put out there, and I will probably put out there from now on this segment, especially, is that it is okay to be triggered. It is a perfectly healthy response. If you are not triggered by racism, sexism, homophobia, xenophobia, or any other things that the right is really good at throwing out there for entertainment purposes, then you're not human. They are not human, but they also get triggered. Don't let anyone make you feel like being triggered is a problem. We'll find healthy ways to deal with it as we move forward in this world, but there's nothing wrong with you for being triggered. If someone says you're triggered, say, yeah, I am. They never expect that either. They never, when you're just like triggered, yeah, I am. So where do we go from here? They just want the conversation to end. You're triggered. You're triggered. This one's kind of the same. D Moreno _527. Buddy met them with the same energy and they couldn't handle it. I don't, first of all, see how the energy is the same. I think I responded to him and I was like, what's the energy? They're fighting for their rights. He's being a dick. Like, it's not the same energy at all. Their energy is valid. His is not in any way. He's just out there to cause harm. It's not the same energy. And they couldn't handle it. Like, imagine if someone came out to your place, walked up to you, and just said the most hateful things they could to you. Like, if you were alone, if you weren't surrounded by your MAGA chuds, you'd be in pain. There's some cold and unfeeling people in this world, but I'm pretty sure you're not one of them. You just try to pretend to be. You try to be a big guy online, tough, act like no one, act like you don't feel that kind of pain. You can handle that kind of thing. No, stop acting like you people are better than everyone else and that you don't feel pain. And last but not least for this particular video, rent _luxury _cars. All the unshaped species in woke world. Too bad we got the country back. Long live the great American nation. There's a little bit to unpack here. A species, first of all, that's just okay, that's whatever. But when they get into the sentiments that, one, they've got the country back, and the way he said it, too bad we got the country back, there's a couple things to look at. One, it's only been a couple of months, so if you were taking the country back from anything, it's a little too early to claim full victory on having taken the country back. Two, what are you taking back? Who are you taking it back from? Is it women who've been ruling the country for the last 8 years? Has it been women? Like, none of you ever just say it. You know what I really appreciate about neo-Nazis? I appreciate that they are blatantly honest about their hate. They'll tell you straight up what they're thinking. They will say outright that they don't like this person, they don't like these people, they don't like these people, and they are what's screwing America up, and they want to take America back from those people. These absolute cowards that want to kind of cloak their exactly equal hate in terms like DEI or being woke being the thing that ruins America. They're the most pathetic of all of these clowns, you know. At least the Nazi, you know what you're headed right for. You don't have to guess. You don't have to second guess who your enemy is. These wannabes that are just kind of like, I don't like these wokes and DEIs. Like, just say what you want to say, buddy. Trump is president now. I feel like you have a little more flexibility. It's not my fault if you get popped in the mouth afterwards, but hey, say what you really want to say so we know who you are. Stop hiding. But then there's also the sentiments in how this was said. It's too bad took the country back. That expresses this idea that, like, yeah, it's too bad that we won and that you're not going to get your freedoms, that you're not going to have your equality. You You underlings, you women, you trans people, you black people, you immigrants. Too bad we took the country back. There's only one really mindset that could think that way, and it's Nazis. They're just Klansmen. Like, just own up to it, man. And then all I have to address after that is the ridiculous idea that the American nation is great. The land that America is on is great, but the US/ America is not. And it's people like you that make sure that's the case. I wish they could see just how slimy they are, but they don't. They're not smart enough to reflect. And I also just want to take a moment to acknowledge more of the video. There's some things that I just wanted to point out that I thought were really, really messed up about this guy. I really do especially hate how this idea of abortion translated as baby killers. And that's something I really hope to tackle more in the future. But when are these morons going to learn that these people are fighting for the right to bodily autonomy? They are not fighting for the right to kill babies. They won't. They're not smart enough to comprehend that. And if they do know, they don't care. They're just a part of the system that is trying to break these women down to their bare level involvement in this world. But just how he insults everyone who he comes to contact with, things he says to some of the people in the video, and relax, man. Relax. Like, just look at this loser. Like, look at this. Oh. So getting back to the subject of chuddom and how it is kind of the general sentiments of the right. Their whole goal is to be chuds and see other people in pain. They like when we are triggered, and that is their goal in everything that they do. So here's King Chud to show us how it's done. I don't know how you can look at that and take Donald Trump seriously ever. I'll admit it's pretty badass. It's pretty badass. If I was in his position, I'd probably do the same thing. But let's be real here. If I was that close to being the president and I got caught up in 34 felonies, I wouldn't make it to the White House. One other thing that you can't hear because I don't play the music is that he has Many Men by 50 Cent playing in the background. And I don't know, you've all seen 50 Cent kind of endorse Trump. Not really, but haphazardly, even let him use the song when he walked into some meeting or something. It was so corny. But that playing on top of this just sends a signal to other chuds that, hey, continue to be the chuds that you are. Make sure they're triggered. Make sure that they are upset by what you're doing. Like as if he's some kind of messiah and he's been targeted like unjustly by everyone, to where him hanging in this picture is like a middle finger back to like what we've done to him. And his fan base is there for it. They show support in every way they can, which is one of the things I acknowledge about the left is we don't fight nearly as hard as they do. They're not very smart people, but they fight for what they believe in. They're not very good people, but they fight for what they believe in. We have to start being more intense like they are, or they will steamroll us. We have to start speaking out against them. We have to direct our statements at them. We better take the next couple of years to start growing and being stronger, because if we don't, they're not leaving. They're not going to go anywhere. And it's okay that they're here. It's just we can't let them be the main force, even if that means stooping to their level, because I'm here for it. Now, to be fair, these technically aren't Chud comments. They are on their own turf. However, by default, MAGA are Chud comments. So everything they say here in support of King Chud is a Chud comment by default. A reminder that they fucked around and found out did. Love it. I don't recall FAFOing at all, really, during this process. You know, if anything, you all are the ones that are FAFOing. We just called it as it was. Like, he's a criminal. He's a felon. That's what happened. That's what he did. And from Chud loves World says the Democrats are choking on the venom they tried to poison him with. No, that was just his own venom. That was his own venom that he that was his own poison. Like he did that to himself. When are y'all gonna realize that this man is his own worst enemy? And you all are giving him like the fuel he needs. Smurf13291 says, I can't with this man. Oh, that Trump. He's such a silly guy. I love him. Not a cult, huh? 8_queen_of_hearts_1 says, what better daily reminder that they threw everything they had at you and you still came out on top and victorious. Trump, USA, MAGA. Those 3 words on the bottom are the majority of theirs, like, vocabulary, first of all. These people expanded a little bit more. Truly, probably the reminder he gets from it. But the only extra thought that's going Donald Trump's head is that he got away with it. We threw everything we could at him, justifiably so. And he walked away on top and victorious. He got away with it, and he knows it. And he's laughing at you as well as us. Janice Woods 179 has a child with a Bible in his hand as her picture, so that tells me everything I need to know. President Donald John Trump, with Jesus Christ himself on your side, you can't be stopped. This is absolutely gorgeous, exquisite, and awesome. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there is a God, and the God of the Bible is exactly who the Bible portrays him to be, and he's all for the crappy shit. Like, maybe he's using Donald Trump as a way to destroy America. Sim.6013 says, I swear to God, there's nobody in the world loves President Donald Trump more than I do. I am the only one in the world. God bless President Donald Trump and God bless America. I hope President Donald Trump is going to become president again between 2028 to 2032. I hope, because President Donald Trump is the only one right person for this country and future of this country. I wonder what region of the country this person comes from. Could it possibly be somewhere in the Appalachian Mountains? Maybe somewhere in northeast Florida. Sorry to all my Florida friends. Y'all know I love y'all. And Jose Christensen 6846 says, you can't kill a real warrior. His name will always be called on. Very sweet words, Jose. Donald Trump is not a warrior at all. He's a fat, doughy thug who incites violence against people and cries when he doesn't get his way. But he is lucky. Has a way of drawing in very, very stupid people. And he's charismatic. And he's not charismatic, but he's charismatic to them. And that's what wins a dictatorship, you know? Someone who is appearing for the people, is not shy about being blunt about how they feel, are the signs of a narcissistic rise to power. I brought this one up to illustrate a point that these people are devout and that he means a lot to them. His words, although they're just word salad, mean everything to them. And you can tell that they're prepared to fight tooth and nail for him. I'm not saying that we should be here to fight for Democrats, because Democrats have let us down tremendously. But we should be prepared to fight for ourselves, for our rights, for our existence, because these people are prepared to move on a whim for him, and they won't hold back. Thank you all for joining me for another segment of
Reading Chud comments.
If you enjoyed it, send me a message, like, subscribe. Trying to get to that 300 spot, and I think we can do it. I am really enjoying making these videos, and I have a lot more along the way. It's been kind of choppy for a few weeks, and it will be for a couple more, just because a lot of personal stuff is going on that I'm sorting out. But we ain't stopping this train. It's about to get bumpy. With Donald Trump in office, it's gonna be a lot of good content to go over. It ain't gonna be good, but there's gonna be a lot of good content to make as a result. Unless, of course, YouTube starts shutting down anyone who opposes the dictator. Remember, it's okay to be triggered. Make sure you keep your mental health in check. And with Avery Fields, aka Cinematic News, this has been Fields of Gold Presents, where the vision is at hand.